Hello everyone, welcome back to Super Medico. My name is George and I'm currently doing my internship at Medico College, Remnant. And today I'm here back with a new video that all of you requested, the apps I use as a medical student. Definitely the apps I use as a doctor would be in a later video because the requirements of a medical student and doctor are different. So I guess I would deal with the medical student part now. So there are a lot of apps in the mobile phone, and mobile phones are a part and parcel of a medico's life, as with any other youth or any other person in the world right now. And I'm going to talk about the apps that I use in particular, something special other than the usual apps, which are the social media apps and the regular apps we all know about. We're starting with an app that most of you might not have heard about, that is Remnant. So I came across Remnant during my YouTube searches about 2 years ago. And I found this to be an amazing app. It's a bit difficult to learn and use in the beginning, but once you get the hang of it, it's really good. If you have seen my previous video about effective studying, I talked about something called active recall and spaced repetition, right? So Remnant, and I talked about something called Anki also, I guess. So Remnant actually fills the gap between Anki and the note-taking software, between your Word and flashcards. So what happens here is, here you type your notes, and as you type your notes, you can automatically create flashcards using simple shortcuts. And lo and behold, you have flashcards and you have notes. And actually I used Remnant a lot for my final year preparations, which was really helpful. Definitely I couldn't use flashcards a lot because due to the lack of time, but definitely most of my notes were on Remnant. So now I'm going to show you some of the notes I've created on Remnant and also some of the flashcards which you can see for yourself. So Remnant is a little bit difficult to study in the beginning. It might seem complicated, but once you get the hang of it, you have to watch a lot of YouTube tutorials and other blogs and all which can help you with it. But once you are able to study it, it's going to be a game changer, that I can assure you. The second app I would like to talk about is something called Notion. Notion might be more familiar to a lot of you people. You might have seen on a lot of YouTuber channels and all. So for me, Notion is like a second brain for me. As you know, our brain has a capacity. It has infinite capacity according to some sources, but unless you keep reusing that thing, it won't stay in your mind. It would get away from your brain, right? So Notion helps me with that. It acts like a second brain. When I read something unique, to be honest, I use Notion in the beginning to make notes, but then as I needed the flashcard concept and I found Remnant to be easier, so I shift out to Remnant. But otherwise I use it for making notes on stuff that I don't need flashcards to memorize. That means they are not for the exams, but they are for my general reading. Suppose I find some good content, some ideas for YouTube videos, I jot down on Notion. Suppose I read an interesting article about procrastination or something interesting about creation or whatever, something that gains interest, and I want it to be there because, as you know, we have infinite amount of information on the World Wide Web. There are lots of articles, lots of links. So instead of saving links and all you won't read through, if you can save some snippets, some important pictures, important notes in somewhere safe, and you can come back. Even book reviews, some books I've read, some of the important quotes and all that I liked from the books I've saved in Notion, and it is accessible anywhere, from a desktop, from online, and even on the mobile app. So it's really accessible. I can access anywhere, anytime, and it has lots of stuff that is really important to me. So it acts like my second brain. So I love Notion, and I would suggest all of you to check out Notion if you haven't, because it's an amazing thing. The other app that I use is something called Notability. Notability you use mainly on the iPad, and you can also use, now they have released the version free on your desktop if you have Mac or something. So Notability is for making handwritten notes. When I have time, when I make handwritten notes because I love designing. You can see some of my notes here. I can show you right now. So I made notes on cardiology and stuff like that. So lots of colors and stuff like that make me interested in learning. But definitely when I'm short on time, when I don't have I don't have the luxury of making this extravagant colorful notes, I shift to Remnant, which is easier, which saves me time also. But definitely those who prefer handwritten notes for studying, Notability is a really good option. I prefer Notability, that's why I bought the app. It's really nice. Another app that I use for controlling my time on phone is something called Clockify. There are similar lot of apps where Clockify is basically like a stopwatch. You can count the amount of time you are doing on different things, and I like Clockify because I can sync it simultaneously on my phone and desktop. And there are a lot of apps, many similar apps when you check on Play Store or App Store. Some apps can help you block also. Like now I'm not much into studying, but whenever I was into studying, I definitely don't want to get distracted by notifications on Instagram or simply scrolling on Instagram when I get time. So if I put a block from this time to this time, I won't be able to access Instagram unless I go and delete the app, which is a bit difficult, right? Yeah, so that really helps. But as you know, in this thing, you can go and delete the app, right? So to prevent that, there's something called cold turkey that is only available on desktop as of now, the free version. And what happens here is cold turkey, you can't delete the stuff. Okay, that is the importance of cold turkey. Here you can block access to certain websites. That's what happens. So when you're on work, you don't want to access social media, you don't want to waste time on YouTube, you enter those websites on cold turkey. Cold turkey would prevent you from going there. Okay, suppose you try to go there, it will automatically shut everything down. So it's like a time saver sort of thing, especially when you're studying. So these two apps I love in terms of that. Then definitely the usual apps that all medicos might be using. There are a lot of educational apps for medicos. For example, Marrow, PrepLadder, DreamPG, DocTutorials, Bhatia, DAP, so many apps are there. So I subscribe to a different one. So I used to I'm not going to specify which app and stuff like that, but I used to subscribe to one app, so I used to use that. So whichever app, so that would be the other app what I have. And definitely social media. No Medico's phone would be without social media, or I would be lying. So I have Instagram, I have Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and stuff like that. So I spend a lot of time on that too. So that is the other apps on my phone. Definitely you can use all those for studying, but I don't use that for studying personally. I would definitely love to. So these are the different apps that I use on my phone. So I hope you like this video, and let me know which apps do you use so I can take some inspiration from you people. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye.